Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Who have we got? We got Deb, we got Shannon, we got John Paul, out to lunch, Sherry, Kai. Who else have we got in here? Donald, how you going? Flyby Stew, Rails, D-Lee. Rough, how you going, guys? Good to see you. Hope I haven't missed anyone. Okay. Wow, I was not ready for this morning again. Oh dear. Okay, let's just make sure it's up to date before we get into the news. And I wanted to apologise to Mrs. MTW yesterday. Before I offered my condolences, I actually stuck up for God. I don't know which ones you're supposed to go, but I am so sorry, and my deepest condolences to your family for losing that person. Sorry. But there you go. Okay. I can be, well, I don't know. Doesn't God come first? Oh, I'm sorry. I do have deepest sympathies, though. Okay, Daily Glimpse Girl said, breaking, the new Japanese government has rejected the construction of Muslim cemeteries on its territory. No Muslim dead body will be allowed to be buried in Japanese soil. No new mosque will be constructed in Japan. Japan seems to have recognised the danger timely. Do you support this policy? I say go Japan. What about you? Go Japan. Hey Shane, how you going? Okay. Patriot Dad EV 2.0 said literally everything Trump is doing is exactly what you voted for. Trump is systematically dismantling the globalist system and Israel is helping. Apparently, some of you just weren't smart enough to know what breaking the Bank of London, Western central banks, the UNWEF globalist system would look like. I'm not saying that they are. Well, I agree with them actually, but this is what it looks like. It's best to let him cook, right? Let Trump cook and just wait and see. Don't rush in to jump on everything, you know. Lozzie B said breaking a Greens candidate, Tom Rao, oh, God knows, I can't even say the name. I bet you it's here in Australia, it is. Wrote that if having sex with a body is so offensive that it upsets people, that was no reason for necrophilia to be made illegal. Someone needs to check this man's hard drive. He also wrote he was an organ donor and had no issues with a person having sex with his own corpse. But he said if someone did not want their corpse interfered with, their wishes should be respected. Oh, how nice of him. Mr. Rao had previously campaigned to change the law to allow bestiality too. I'd definitely check his hard drive. Yes, most Australians find it disgusting, but that's not a good enough reason to legislate against it, he said. Tom, whatever his name is, was also a staffer in the past to New South Wales MP David Shoebridge. God help us. Exclusive necrophilia's harmless Greens candidate calls for legal sex with corpses in Australia. After it was revealed he campaigned to change the law to allow bestiality. Can you see the look on my face? Oh dear. I just don't know this world. I don't know what's going on. Didn't think it was this, prolific. Here I am the other day saying I don't like people who go like, and I'm doing it. Clownwell said this might be one of the most out-of-touch takes I've seen in a while. What apart from mine? No, I'm kidding. The climate. Farmers are an unnecessary relic of a dying far-right movement. Uber Eats will replace farming within 3 years. Bank on it. Do they know where Uber Eats gets the food from? I mean, I know they go to Coles and that, but do they know where they get their food from? Do they know where food comes from? Doesn't sound like it. And this is someone calling themselves the climate, at Dear Climate. Okay, Batman here said, daylight savings, you know that stupid idea to turn your clocks back to get an extra hour of sun and save electricity? Well, it's been proven it doesn't save electricity. And all it does is interfere with our circadian rhythms anyway. That's what I think. I'd prefer not to have daylight savings, thank you. I'd prefer the time just to stay where it is. It's either that or, that's either time or it's not. What's going on? How can time just be changed? Back and forward, back and forward. How does that actually, I don't know. I might just be dumb, but how does that work? Leave it alone. It's either the time or it's not the time. That's my logic for you. Senator Babbitt said Rome did not fall the day an enemy army breached the gates. It fell the day its rulers began to despise the very people who built it, fed it, defended it, and kept it alive. Empires rarely collapse from invasion. They collapse from contempt. History is repeating. People need to go and have a look at history. Or it will tend to repeat because people forget. Or generations happen. Patriota said Biden and Obama supposedly had proof that Trump raped a girl and videotaped it for the past decade, but thought it would be easy to use the FBI to spy on him, launch Crossfire, Hurricane, raid Mar-a-Lago, impeach him twice and push the PP story to get him. Are Liberals really this gullible? It's amazing how easily they fall in line like sheep. It is. That's Liberals in America are our Labor here, and our Liberals, well, they're Labor too, don't worry. Our Liberals are stuffed too. V said, Albanese, Muslims have contributed so much to our nation over generations. Bali bombings targeting Australians, the Bondi attack, the Link Cafe siege, Cronulla riots, Sydney Hilton bombings, way back. And in 1915, Broken Hill train? Did they? Wow. I didn't know that one, so there you go. Katie said, this is not far from the truth. Dan Andrews is still running the show from the shadows. Let's play that from the beginning. Okay, let's make it big. Oh, let me see. I can't, hang on. I can't see the play button. There's too much shit in the way. I'm in a closet, so I've tried to fit a 3-bedroom house into a closet. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Melbourne, Australia.
That's about right. She looks like him. Why? It must be. I don't know. Rob Smith said we had a good rain across Central Australia. The problem is we have no dams there. We could make middle of Australia green if we built dams. One Nation is the only political party talking about real need for new dams. Vote One Nation. That's just my opinion. You might have a different opinion. Vote One Nation if you want to save Australia. If not, Australia's going down the toilet. Josh Barzon said, hey, Grok, remove every religion here that bases salvation on human righteousness, works or merit. Leave the one that bases salvation entirely on God's grace. Create an image of this showing the result. Which one do you think? Which one do you think? Christianity. Believes God is the only way. Doesn't believe that your salvation relies on righteousness, works or merit, but entirely on God's grace. Okay. Mayor Zoran Mamdani claimed his, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I don't know, Christianity is the right way to go. I don't know. It's just me, again, my opinion. New York Post said Mayor Zoran Mamdani claimed his wife Rama Duwaji isn't a public figure after facing uproar for her liking social media posts celebrating Hamas October 7th attack. A lot of people think he should be, I don't like that. I don't like the New York Post either. New York Times, New York, I don't like any of them. But there you go. Eric Doherty said President Trump drops truth, the saddest. Oh, let him say it. I'm going to let him say it. Saves me talking and getting a tickle in my throat.
That has an impact, you know. It really has an impact.
Hang on.
The saddest is that if the election...
Hang on, I'll play it again. I can't hear shit. Okay, let me have a look. Output audio, let's have a look.
That has an impact. It really has an impact. It's bad for both. The saddest is that if the election weren't rigged, my election, that war would have never taken place. And you know what else wouldn't have taken place? Allowing 25 million people to pour through an open border. That wouldn't have taken place. A lot of things would have been different.
Can you guys hear that? If you can't, President Trump drops truth. The saddest is if my election weren't rigged, that war would have never taken place. You know what else wouldn't have taken place? Allowing 25 million people to pour through an open border. That's what he said. I was trying to save myself, but it didn't work. Right Angle News Network said, breaking, President Trump's FCC has announced sweeping proposals to end Americans' problems with foreign call centres. Oh, my God, can we have Trump? We need Trump. Including onshoring jobs to the US. Can we have what they're having? Requiring operators to speak standard English and imposing tariffs on countries running scam centres. Oh, my God, can we... Have you ever watched the videos on YouTube about people scamming the scammers? It's quite good, actually. But anyway. Gunther Eagleman said Secretary Wright relief at the pump is on its way fast. Gas prices are set to drop significantly weeks, not months, thanks to President Trump's energy dominance agenda. What did I say yesterday? I don't think it's going to last. And then the countries that have put their petrol up and keep it up will be shown to... It's the government, I guarantee it's the government doing it. Fletch 17 said Shield of the Americas. The Shield of the Americas is President Trump's new Western Hemisphere security initiative, formally launching at a summit this Saturday in Doral, Florida. Hope I said that right. It focuses on freedom, security and prosperity across the Americas via cooperation with aligned leaders from nations like Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador and others. Key goals: dismantle cartels and narco-trafficking, curb illegal migration, secure borders and limit China, Russia, Iran influence in the region, echoing a modern Dunroe Doctrine? Kristi Noem is now special envoy leading it all. Full scope is hemispheric wide, but starts with these partners. Interesting. Dom Luca, breaker of narratives, said breaking President Trump is able to sue actress Yvette Nicole Brown after she falsely claimed he was a pedo while attacking Nicki Minaj, who's sticking up for Trump. I've had a bad morning. Okay? I said Trump. My God. Hey, where's my head at? Gunther Eagleman said breaking. President Trump shook up DHS by tapping the former MMA fighter Mark Wayne Mullen to lead the agency after Noem was removed and nobody is ready for what's coming. Democrats like Schumer whine about the rot is deep as if he didn't sit back and watch America get invaded under Biden. What makes it worse is that there are Democrats still trying to kneecap DHS with policy changes while blocking funding. Meanwhile, Senator Fetterman and Welch admit Mullen is... Senator Mullen vows, my focus is to keep the homeland secure. President Trump is making the right call. The Senate needs to confirm Mullen fast and ramp up deportations. America first wins the moment they're all deported. There you go. Fan Trump Army. Watching jaw-dropping remarks, US President Trump goes nuclear. Okay, let's have a listen. Hopefully this one's going to blow our ears off. It will. You watch. Okay, let's have a listen.
Anyway, those people,
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them.
What are you
You got to talk up.
She said how many countries? Is there a list?
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? And it's probably more than that.
Is that what you mean when you mean third world countries, those 19?
No, I don't think they're all third world, but in many cases they are third world. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
Yeah, throw Ilhan Omar out. She married a brother to get into the country, to get him into the country. Eric Doherty said, breaking. Senator John Kennedy reveals President Trump was enraged at Kristi Noem pinning the $200 million DHS ad buy on him. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll have a look anyway. To be blunt, she was dead as fried chicken. John Kennedy always says the funniest things, honestly. President Trump was mad as a mama's wasp, he said. Kennedy, I hope you understand I have nothing to do with this DHS $200 million ad. He was not happy. We talked about a few names he might consider, and then what happened. It's not personal, but President Trump was very irritated that the secretary had seemed to blame this on him. They looked a great deal like political ads, and I found that breathtaking. And when I see what I perceive to be spending porn, I don't care who does it, I'm going to call it out. I'm pretty cheap when it comes to taxpayer money. I squeak when I walk, and that's what happened. What the...
Ads out across America, $250 million, in which she was prominently displayed. They looked a great deal like political ads. And I found that breathtaking. And when I see what I perceive to be spending porn, I don't care who does it. I'm going to call it out. I'm pretty cheap when it comes to taxpayer money. I squeak when I walk. And that's what happened. It also came out, though the Secretary denied it, that these were no-bid contracts, and then apparently some of them did not go to people whose names she got off ZipRecruiter. They went to political friends. And we talked about that. And I was stunned when she answered categorically that the president approved every single bit of it. Later that day, I got a call from President Trump. He was mad as a mama wasp. He said, "Kennedy, I hope you understand that I had nothing to do with this." And I said, "Well, I do believe you, Mr. President." He was not happy. It was clear to me after that conversation that the secretary's time at the department was limited. That to be blunt, she was dead as fried chicken. And we talked about a few names that he might consider, and then what happened. It's not personal, but
there you go. I don't know if I played that twice, but that was funny. I'm sorry. I find John Kennedy very funny. His name is John, isn't it? Yeah. Pretty sure it is, yeah. Okay, Jonathan Karl said in a lengthy conversation just now, President Trump hit back at Tucker Carlson, who called the Iran war absolutely disgusting and evil. Oh, would he rather have the Ayatollah killing their own people? Killing women for showing hair? Tucker has lost his way, Trump told me. I knew that a long time ago, and he's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA's making our country great again. MAGA is America first, and Tucker is none of those things. And Tucker is really not smart enough to understand that. I don't know. It's been reported. I don't even know if that is absolutely true, but Jonathan Karl says it is. I don't know. Do your own research. Use your own discernment. Always. Amuse said Texas Senate race, reportedly President Trump's endorsement of John Cornyn had already been drafted by his team yesterday. However, after a Truth Social post about the endorsement appeared prematurely, a mistake now confirmed by 3 sources, and influential conservatives voiced strong pushback. The president began seeking input from conservative leaders in Texas. Trump was particularly surprised by how much money had been diverted from GOP Senate races across the country to support Cornyn's campaign. He was also struck by the campaign's costs per vote. Cornyn reportedly spent about $116 per vote, money that could have been used to flip Democrats' seats, while Paxton spent just $5.67 per vote. Trump was also irritated that key conservative figures had not contacted him directly and asked why they had not simply contacted him directly. Jeez, there's a lot of shit going on. That's all I can say. Aaron Rupar said Trump on Mexico. I like the president very much. She's a very good person. She's got a beautiful voice, beautiful woman. I said, let me eradicate the cartels. No, please, President, we have to eradicate them. We have to knock the hell out of them. The cartels are running Mexico. We can't have that. Well, there you go. I thought she was all for them. There you go. I don't know. Eric Doherty said Justin, Secretary Marco Rubio, is telling Latin America that it's time to obliterate the narco-terrorists and cartels under President Trump's Shield of the Americas. You can't have economic progress without security. This will not be something where we just meet one time, have conversations, or put out a paper. We want action. Oh, there you go.
very strongly on the opportunities we have to work together economically. But you can't have economic progress without security. And as evidence of the President's strong commitment to this initiative, so that this is not just going to be something where we meet one time and have conversations and we meet once a year and put out a paper. We want it to be an issue of action. He has appointed Secretary Noem as the special envoy dedicated to this relationship. And you will see a lot of her. She'll be very involved with each of you at a personal level and on a daily and weekly and monthly level to ensure that what we talk about here today and the work we do together continues on, and we can build upon that. So I want to turn it over to our envoy, who will be doing this, and she'll be running our program. And again, thank you really, truly, for joining us in this, what I think is a very historic gathering, very strongly on the opportunity.
There you go. So I don't know about John Kennedy's claim about Kristi Noem,
economically, but you can't have economic
she's
progress without
part of that special envoy. Okay, Jay said AOC claims to care about victims when it's President Trump and the Jeffrey Epstein cover-up, but will vote no to release records on Congress members' sexual misconduct, covering up her colleagues in Congress. That should tell you a lot. Because the Jeffrey Epstein files have been contaminated by years of the FBI having them and the Democrats being in charge of the government. I'll show you in a minute. Like, there is some stuff going on. Eric Doherty said, holy crap, President Trump reveals Iranian regime leaders are calling him begging for a deal. They're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late. Their Navy is gone, 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone, so they have no air force. They have no air defence. All their airplanes are gone. The communications are gone, missiles are gone, launches are gone. We continue to demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule. We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour, knocking them out like nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launch gets hit. They don't know what's happening, but we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. Other than that, they're doing quite well. Oh, dear. Eric Doherty said, breaking, President Trump has a mic drop moment on Iran, then tells press to leave the room. If we don't stop them, you'd have a nuclear war. They would have taken out many countries. You know what? They're sick people. They're mentally ill, sick people. They're angry, they're crazy, they're sick. That's their leaders, I'm sure, that he's talking about. Not the people, not the normal people of Iran, but their leaders. And little foot soldiers. Eric Doherty said, just in, President Trump's Space Force is now surging, using the heat-sinking infrared beams to detect missiles the second they launch. This is the same Space Force Democrats opposed Trump establishing in his first term because they thought it was silly or useless. Now it's saving lives and helping us obliterate the Iranian regime. Imagine that, the traitors are wrong again. Wall Street Ape said, what a turn of events. Instead of rioting, Minneapolis residents are now coming out to support Donald Trump. We are coming here today to celebrate how many dictators' death in Iran. We are really supporting President Trump's decision to eliminate this person, in this dictator in our country, so we're here to support our revolution in country. People want a revolution, regime change in our country. Dozens of Iranian Americans gathered here, downtown Minneapolis. You could feel the range of emotions here at the rally. There were hugs and some tears of joy mixed with dancing and rejoicing. Many people tell me they're relieved, and in this moment they're hopeful for a change. There you go. Celebrating. Eric Doherty said, laugh my effing ass off. President Trump is yanking his handshakes right now, exerting dominance over Latin American leaders. Watch him. Oh, it was back here. Here, see? Dominance. Tug of war, mate. Okay, Matt Wallace said, President Trump just sent a very loud message to the cartels. He met the top leaders of the Americas, Argentina, President Javier Milei, Ecuador, President Noboa, El Salvador, President Nayib Bukele, Honduras, President Tito, Panama, President Jose Raul. Oh, I knew I'd get stuck somewhere. Okay. Today marks a pivotal moment in hemispheric relations as President Donald Trump hosts the inaugural Shield of the Americas summit at his Trump National Doral Miami Resort in Florida. This gathering brings together pro-US leaders from across Latin America to address key challenges like security, counter-narcotics, anti-money laundering, migration, and countering external influences such as China in the Western Hemisphere. The summit reflects a rightward political shift in the region and serves as an alternative forum amid the postponement of the traditional Summit of the Americas. 14 attendees include heads of state and government from 12 countries, United States, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guyana, Honduras, Panama, Paraguay, Trinidad and Tobago. Among the significant leaders in attendance, standouts includes Argentina's Javier Milei, known for his bold economic reforms and alignment with the US policies, El Salvador's Nayib Bukele, a trailblazer in combating organised crime, and Ecuador's Daniel Noboa, who's spearheading joint US counter-drug operations. Chile's incoming president Cast also signals the growing coalition of right-leaning governments prioritising security and prosperity ties with Washington. This summit could pave the way for stronger multilateral alliances. Watch for outcomes on military cooperation and regional stability. There you go. Interesting. Nick Sautor said just in, President Trump is demanding the US Senate pass the Save America Act immediately, per Carolyn Levitt. John Cornyn is refusing to support enforcing the talking filibuster, the only way this bill would pass. Cornyn's a backstabber, 47. Okay, I believe this is going to go to... Could this go to like an emergency action somehow? I think I was reading that the other day. OSINT defender said speaking during an event today at the White House, Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy attempted to ask President Trump about reports that Russia was providing Iran with intelligence and data to target US forces in the Middle East. To which Trump interrupted him and said that's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. But can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asking at this time. We're talking about something else. Can we keep this maybe a little bit? Yeah, can we keep it on point on what we're talking about? Okay, there you go. AJ Inapi, Alan. When President Trump says Iran hasn't seen actual force yet, people think it's a joke. When Secretary Marco Rubio says the next phase will be brutal for Iran, people think he's bluffing. When Secretary of War Pete Hegseth smirks and said the worst is yet to come for their regime, people think it's just projection. Iran FA'd, so they effed around. Now they will find out. Donald J. Trump said Iran, which is being beat to hell, has apologised and surrendered to its Middle East neighbours and promised that it will not shoot at them anymore. This promise was only made because of the relentless US and Israeli attack. They were looking to take over and rule the Middle East. It is the first time that Iran has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle East countries. They have said, thank you, President Trump. I've said you're welcome. Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East and will be for many decades until they surrender or more likely completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behaviour are areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment in time. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And yes, that was Nayib Bukele and Trump's handshake in Florida. I don't know why I put that in there. Bo Loudon said, breaking Britney Spears' Iranian ex-husband Sam Ashgari just said the Iranian people are in love with America and President Trump. They love America just like I do, just like we do. There you go. That's Britney Spears' Iranian ex-husband. Good on him. Tommy Robinson said Democrat Seth Moulton brought an illegal immigrant to President Trump's State of the Union speech and then hit him in his office. Turns out Marcelo Gomez da Silva is in 2 police reports involving sexual assault and minors. Seth Moulton, you have a lot to answer for bringing that man in there. Aaron Rupar said, Kennedy, I was stunned when oh yeah, I've already read that one. Walter Kurtz said, here comes the legacy media screaming about how President Trump forgot to refill our strategic petroleum reserves. I know they enjoy lying for clicks, but this is a particularly retarded story, let alone the fact that it was Biden who drained them. They also forget to mention what it takes to refill them and how long it would take to do so. Old Sleepy Joe robbed the SPR as if it was his midterm campaign fund. Trump handed him a rock-solid 638 million barrels, then with gas prices exploding to $5 a gallon, thanks to his green energy disaster, House Plant-in-Chief ordered the largest release in US history. 180 million barrels dumped at 1 million per day for 6 months straight in 2022. All time to fake lower pump prices right before the voters hit the polls. The vegetable, I called him a potato, but yeah, the vegetable cratered the reserves to a 40-year low around 347 million barrels, half of the buffer gone. And some of that oil went straight to China while American families were getting hammered. And after that desperate political stunt, he still lost the House. Classic. Now Trump is back in charge and suddenly these legacy hacks are pretending he just forgot to fix it overnight. We're sitting at roughly 416 million barrels out of 714 million barrel capacity as of early 2026. Undoing Biden's vandalism means buying back nearly 300 million barrels on the open market. That's a $20 billion taxpayer bill at current prices, not counting repairs and logistics disaster left behind from the rapid drain. What about the oil didn't they just grab barrels of oil off Venezuela when they arrested Maduro? I don't know. It may be high. Anyway, and on top of that, they completely bury the lead. Refilling isn't some magic undo button like Biden's fire hose dump was. You can't just snap your fingers. Infrastructure limits, smart buying to avoid jacking up prices again, congressional funding fights and delivery contracts mean the realistic pace is brutally slow, a fraction of Biden's million barrels per day catastrophe. At current rates, restoring to safe pre-Biden strength could easily take nearly a decade, quadruple the time it took him to torch it for votes he didn't even win. Trump's team is already contracting buys when prices make sense and pushing the infrastructure, but the damage Biden left is massive. These clowns are hoping, as always, that Americans never connect the dots on what Biden sacrificed for one failed election. Thanks, Joe. You potato. Okay, Eric Doherty just in. President Trump on Iran. Their army's gone, their navy's gone, their communications. I think I just shared that. But said in a different way, two sets of their leaders are gone, down to their third set. Their air force is wiped out entirely. Think of it. They have 32 ships, all 32 at the bottom of the ocean. And other than that, they're doing very well. I like that. Ames said this should be all over the MSM, but it's not. President Trump stuns the world by bringing the leader of the Benghazi attack to America. Will there finally be justice for what Hillary Clinton did? Not doing very well there, mate. He's shaking. Look at the shakes, mate. Look at this. Well, it might be cold, but, you know. I think he might be scared and cold. Cold and scared. Or does he have, like, Parkinson's or something? Colin Ruggs said new J6er who was pardoned by President Trump, seen crying in court as he's sentenced to life in prison for molesting two children. 45-year-old Andrew Paul Johnson was convicted for molesting a child under 12 and one under 16. Johnson reportedly told one of the victims that he was going to receive money from the government following the pardon and that he would put the child in his will. This tactic was believed to be used to keep the child from exposing what Andrew had done, a sheriff's office report read. We were scared, one of Johnson's victims testified. Like we didn't realise this stuff was not okay, but we were 12 years old. Now, I don't know. I can't confirm. So, as always, do your own research. Eric Doherty said, wow, China's now panicking over President Trump's overwhelming strikes against Iran and Venezuela victory. Peter Schweizer, China has lost two of its most important allies in the developing world. China provided their most advanced air defence capabilities to Iran. We completely destroyed them. Half of their oil is suddenly not available to them if America cuts off the Strait of Hormuz. Let's freaking go. Welcome to the Trump doctrine. Okay, China pushed out of the Strait of Hormuz. There you go. That is funny. The Vigilant Fox said Adam Schiff falls right into Bill Maher's trap as he criticises a statement he thought was from Trump but was actually from Obama. Let's have a little listen to this.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama about Libya.
Well, Obama made the argument initially that he could go into Syria without an authorization. I and many others pushed back on that argument. Ultimately, he did not go forward with going after Assad, even though Assad was gassing his own people, because he thought he might lose the vote in Congress. But I respect the fact that that was important to him, and the fact that he did not have the support of Congress meant that we weren't going to go forward.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitution.
Backtracking much? Okay. Base Jessica said Trump didn't know he was being recorded at church, and this is what they captured. I think I might have seen this before. Either that or it's a new one. There you go. Waiting for the plate to come around. God love him. Ryan Fournier said braking Iran is completely collapsing. Their missile launches have plummeted from nearly 100 down to just 8. They are literally flying Vietnam era junk against our next generation military. Iran is stuck in the 1960s and President Trump is in absolutely no rush. He knows exactly what he's doing. We are winning. Oh, Eric Doherty said, holy crap, President Trump is ripping into UK and Keir Starmer. This is not the age of Churchill. The UK is very uncooperative. That stupid island they have that they gave away and took a 100-year lease having to do with Indigenous people that never saw the island before. They ruin relationships, that country, the UK. I love that country. My mother was born there. The UK, with energy and migration, is horrible.
And so has UK.
I can't hear any of it.
Now the second one is...
Why is it all really low today? Okay, well, I pretty much read what he said. Eric Doherty said, oh my God, President Trump is hilarious. Speaking to Latin American leaders, Marco Rubio has a language advantage over me because I'm not learning your damn language. I don't have time. I had an interpreter that wasn't good, even though I don't speak the language. I could tell the interpreter was not good. When you go, when I give a long, flowing, beautiful sentence, it was a woman. She gave it in 1/4 of the time. I said, your language may be difficult, may be efficient, but it's not that efficient. There is nobody else like this, man. The whole room is losing it. Let's have a listen, see if this one's any louder.
He likes it. He feels very calm. We all like him, right? It helps. He's got a language. He's got a language advantage over me, because I'm not learning your damn language. I don't have time. I was okay with languages, but I'm not going to spend time learning your language. That much I won't do. Just give me a good interpreter. Interpreter, very important. And I know if somebody's good. I may not speak the language, but I know I had an interpreter recently that wasn't good, talking to a very strong person from a different part of the world. And I could tell, even though I don't speak the language, I could tell the interpreter was not good. When you go, when I give a long, flowing, beautiful sentence, and in this case it was a woman, and she gave it in about 1/4 the time, I said, well, their language may be efficient, but it's not that efficient. And I could also tell when I have great interpreters. Interpreters are very important. You know, you have a bad interpreter. You think you're doing well? Boy, did I do a good job talking to this one or that. Was I great when I spoke to Putin today?
There you go. Okay. Now let's have a look. It depends on what you believe, I suppose, again. This is Grok. Okay. Remember this? The list of Epstein Island visitors, okay? Grok has said this viral Epstein Island visitors list is a known hoax. It mixes some real flight log names like Bill Clinton with many unverified or false ones, Barack Obama, Tom Hanks, etc. No official court docs or logs match this exact compilation. Real Epstein records include flight manifests and mentions, but island visits are far more limited and documented separately. Fact checks from AAP, USA Today and others confirm it's fabricated. I don't know. I don't trust American Associated Press or USA Today. I don't trust mainstream. It's up to you what you believe. Just thought I'd show you what that said because I was like, I don't know about that. Okay. 0 Hour said Iran just hit a skyscraper in Dubai by accident with a drone. Saudi Arabia and UAE and Qatar will now be responding with fighter jets into Iran. I think Iran just crossed the red line. I mean, therefore I am, said breaking New York store owner loses it after finding a Muslim police officer praying on a mat blocking the way to the bathroom. Go pray in the car. This isn't an effing mosque. The N-word.
Yo, bro, I don't even know what's going on, but nigga, I'm trying to go to the bathroom and look. Nigga got 12 in here praying. Bro, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? 12 is in there praying right now, bro. Bro. What are you doing? I'm just coming. Go pray in your car with a preacher. This ain't no fucking mosque, nigga. What's up with y'all niggas, bro? Look, in my ear too, nigga. This ain't no fucking mosque, nigga. Yeah. You on this? Yeah, I do. You on this? Yeah, I do. Okay. Yo, bro, I don't even know what's going on.
Good on the man. Tell him. You tell him, mate. Go to your car and pray. 0 Hour said they have the same $7,000 donor. Shut it down. What do you reckon? Got Tucker Carlson, MTG. You got Laura Loomer saying today Tucker Carlson said Israel's one of the ugliest countries in the world, which has built nothing of beauty since 1948. He said all of Israel's Islamic neighbours are beautiful and Israel is waging a war on beauty. He said Israel wants to bomb Iran because Iran is pretty and Israel isn't. Tucker is consumed by his hatred of Jews. I've been to Israel 5 times, a beautiful country. I believe I've been there once when I was a kid. I went to Israel when I was a kid. Do your own research again. But Trump did call out Tucker and did say that he's lost it. Patrick Webb said breaking birth control pills are now listed as Group 1 cancer-causing agent per the WHO. Who? Commentary Australia Greens said Fatima Payman said it was unconstitutional for Pauline Hanson to disrespect Muslims by wearing a burqa in a parliament. Can you show me where it says that in our constitution? What's actually unconstitutional is the fact that Fatima is sitting in the Senate. I would call her out and say, I would like to see where it says that in our constitution. Thank you very much. Emily Schrader said this is illegal. I thought it was. Remember I was asking people yesterday if this was illegal for Candace Owens to be saying this? This is illegal. She's literally advocating mutiny. Under 18 USC, Section 2387, advocating overthrow or disloyalty in the armed forces. It is a crime for any person, including civilians, to willfully advocate or attempt to cause insubordination in the armed forces, disloyalty among service members, mutiny or refusal of duty. It also criminalises distributing materials intending to encourage those outcomes. The penalty can be up to 10 years in prison and fines. And you know what she's done? She's doubled down. This is what she said, yes, that do not join or remain in the United States military. Trump has betrayed America and expects you to die for Israel. There's no honour in being led by dishonourable men to your death. And she's doubled down today. Okay, that was what she said the other day. But yeah, I thought that was illegal. Am I wrong? Can anyone tell me if I'm wrong? Wall Street Apes said the village of Wentworth, England, banned kebab shops. The village enacted very strict planning controls to preserve their English heritage. All their village shops and food places are mandated to be traditional English to keep the area peaceful and traditional. That is not racist. No, I don't think it is either. It's your town. If you don't want it there, there you go. Can I play this or am I going to get hit with something?
This is the village that officially banned kebab shops and takeaways. Is it true that kebab shops and takeaways are not allowed to open in the village? Is it? Yeah. Where pubs, shops and restaurants serve British food, meeting some real characters and exploring the food around.
Do you know that used to be the same as the Blue Mountains? They wouldn't allow McDonald's and big corporations, and then all of a sudden Coles went in there and Woolworths and Aldi and Domino's Pizza, and yeah, they still won't allow McDonald's or KFC up there or anything, but yeah, they were trying to keep it local shops only, but there's kebab shops and everything up there too. Tukey said, let me explain what just happened because I don't think people understand how insane this is. A woman asked ChatGPT for legal help. Okay, this is how you shouldn't rely on AI. It told her to fire her real lawyer. She did. Then it wrote 40-plus court filings citing laws that don't exist, cases that never happened, and judges that never ruled. The other side spent $300,000 responding to completely made-up legal documents. An AI hallucinated an entire legal career and nobody noticed for months. OpenAI is now being sued for $10 million. And this is the same company that just signed a deal with the Pentagon. They can't even stop their AI from faking court cases, but sure, give it access to military intelligence. What could possibly go wrong? Jeez. The British Patriot said breaking protests have erupted at multiple locations across Edinburgh, with crowds marching through the streets waving Scottish and British flags. Chants of sink the boats echo through Edinburgh tonight. The Scots are demanding the removal of all illegal immigrants. Go, guys. We all need to. James Woods said, I know this is AI, but I'm genuinely now thinking of opening a coffee shop with this name. Do you remember Kofifi? Kofifi? A coffee shop. That'd be pretty good, actually. James Woods. Hey, I really like James Woods now. He was in Scary Movie 2. He was the priest. Yeah. Looks like he know. What does he know about Q? I don't know. Kofifi, remember that? Had to do with Q. Samuel Leeds said, I want to buy churches like this that are shutting down across England. Ooh. So if you know a church that's for sale and potentially closing down, let me know. I want to buy a church. I don't care if it's got planning permission to return to flats development. I don't care. I want to buy it. I don't care how profitable the conversion will be. If I was built as a church, if it was built as a church, it needs to stay as a church. Sorry, I've got a lot of noise going on, but yeah, it needs to stay as a church. I want to save churches like this one from being shut down and sold off to developers all across the UK. Good on you, mate. I love making profit in property, but when someone's being built as a church to honour Jesus Christ, that's a no-no. When something's being built as a church, not someone. I'm having problems maybe because people aren't exactly wording these things to my understanding. There's revival coming in England and we need to keep our churches open, ready for what's to come. Is this a good idea? I would support it 100%, mate. And I'm not even in England. Go, mate, go. If I had the money, I'd do that here. There's all these little churches everywhere. And like they're breaking down, they're falling apart. And they're tiny because they're in the country. I've been seeing a lot of country stuff because I went away. And, there was this little wooden church where I went. And it was like, looked all broken up, but was still being used. I was surprised, actually. Once a month they have services, which is sad. Should be once a week, at least. Pauline Hanson said media released David Farley to stand for One Nation in Farah. So David Farley and Farah, okay? Farley and Farah now. Narendra-based agribusiness and irrigation professor David Farley will stand as One Nation's candidate for the Farah by-election. Speaking in Albury after the Farah branch pre-selected Mr Farley, One Nation leader Senator Pauline Hanson said Mr Farley would be an exemplary representative for Farah communities and the businesses and industries which drove the electorate's economy. David Farley has deep roots in the region and a strong background in business and irrigated agriculture, Senator Hanson said. I'm confident we have selected the right candidate for this critical by-election. I'm grateful to everyone who's put their hand up to represent One Nation in this by-election. Apparently there were 100 people running for it, to stand with One Nation in Farah. 100 people applied, or over 100. Communities in Farah are struggling with many of the same issues impacting the rest of the country. The soaring cost of living, a housing crisis driven by Labor's mass immigration, and the economic self-harm caused by Labor's obsession with net zero. This is a resilient community of proud Australians that deserve a representative who shares the same values, who works hard, and who puts their community first. David Farley is that representative. Mr Farley, 69, was born and raised in the riverina town of Narendra. He has forged an international career spanning decades working in the United States, Africa and the former Soviet Union, as well as Australia. He has an expert understanding of water reform in the Murray-Darling Basin. I'm standing for One Nation to be the strong independent voice in Canberra that communities in Farah will need in the years to come, Mr Farley said. Pauline Hanson and One Nation represent the only real alternative for Australians who are watching their living standards go backwards under Labor. My priorities will be implementing One Nation's sensible policies to reduce the cost of living and fix Labor's housing crisis, scrapping net zero and slashing mass migration. I'll focus on smarter water reform policies so irrigation industries across the basin can prosper and communities in Farah can thrive. I want to strengthen and revive regional hospitals, children's healthcare and aged facilities. I'm ready to fight Labor's war on farmers and small business. I'm going to champion apprenticeships for young people in our community. That's the way to go. Retard founder found Ben Stiller and Ben Stiller blocked him. Never go full retard. Ben Stiller went full retard. Laura Limmer said breaking Southwest Airlines Flight 2094 from Nashville to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was forced to divert to Atlanta late last night after an Arabic-looking Muslim passenger on board the plane threatened to blow the plane up with a bomb. You can see the SWAT team apprehend the Muslim passenger while terrified passengers were forced to put their hands up. Zero media coverage. Share this everywhere. Deport all Muslims from America. If you were on this flight, please DM Laura Loomer. They got him off. What did you expect? Saying you were going to bomb the plane on the plane. Pauline Hanson said this week a war started in the Middle East, a war that will pause the importation of 20% of Australia's oil supplies. Labor has not increased our reserve oil supplies or prepared our nation for the shock since taking office 4 years ago. As the Maritime Union of Australia said this week, Australia is an energy exporting nation. It is indefensible that we cannot guarantee our own fuel supply. Fuel sovereignty is a national responsibility. The time for half measures is past. Decisive action is required now. Our oil reserves are running low primarily because of the idiotic energy policies pushed by Labor and the Greens and too often implemented by the Liberals, which have shut down our domestic oil refining capabilities. The United States has been very clear for a long period of time that war with Iran was imminent. Never once did Labor pause and reflect on their policies or increase our strategic reserves of oil. Like a tone-deaf school prefect, Labor Minister Tanya Plibersek screeched at Barnaby Joyce on national TV this week, and we quote, "This is a good reason to have electric vehicles." Unless you can't afford one. Those outrageous comments drove Barnaby Joyce to despair. One Nation has long had a raft of policies that would increase our domestic supply of energy, including oil. We would protect our domestic market from shocks like this by increasing our strategic reserves and halving the tax on the petrol, which Labor has raised 8 times since taking office. You wonder why our petrol's gone up. Labor will seek to profit from this war. What did I say? Whereas One Nation would give back to taxpayers and battlers. On May the 9th, the electorate of Farah will get a chance to vote on the policies that Labor, the Greens, the Teals and Liberals have been using to damage Australia. This electoral test will primarily be about energy. The cost of fuel is the primary driver of inflation and increases the cost of everything. When all is said and done, Australia can walk one of two paths. The left wants energy poverty, no manufacturing, a destroyed rural sector and citizens living in tents. Or Australia can back a party prepared to rebuild our nation, cut red tape, stop the government waste and lower taxes. Most of all, we have a plan to make energy, both petrol and electricity, substantially cheaper. It's that simple. The Farah by-election is a choice between One Nation's offer of hope and better living standards or more of the radical left's destruction of Australia. Because remember, the Teals and the Liberal Party vote with Anthony Albanese more often than they oppose it. They do. Samantha Smith said, "Stop calling them Asian grooming gangs. They aren't Japanese, Thai or Filipino. They are Pakistani and they are Muslim. It is gangs of Pakistani Muslim men who groomed, abused, raped, sodomized, tortured, killed, kidnapped and murdered little girls. Get it right." Yeah, I wonder why they call even Indians. Why do they call them Asians? I don't know. They don't look Asian to me. I don't know. Bob said Labor just voted against the Coalition's bill to outlaw helping terrorist offenders enter Australia. Oh, what do you know? Are you surprised? I'm not. Frickin' Labor. Can we hurry up and get these people out? Bob said it has to be the direct effect of climate change. It's bleaching our native population. Look at what an Aborigine is. And look at the people claiming to be one now. Compare the pair. I can't. It just doesn't fit. The amazing evolution of Indigenous Australians over the past 230 plus years has gone from this to this. Well, then I'm a bloody Aboriginal then. Bernardi said it seems the Women and Children's Hospital in Adelaide is now called something I can't even pronounce. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? I can't even pronounce it, but just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? This madness needs to end. What's it called? Okay, let's get this guy. What's his...
But apparently it's now called the Younger Kiki.
He can't say it either.
Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? No one knows where the Googawaggali Centre is.
Googawaggali Centre.
And Children's Hospital.
Okay, let's try and pronounce this. Nangang Kiku Nga Tuku Kukuwali. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Oh, it's amazing. These people are insane. Who renamed it? Which, like Adelaide, okay. Sorry, South Australia. Feel sorry for yous. Elon Musk said true. Basil the Great said, take this in for a moment. The Home Secretary of the United Kingdom is on live national television saying English people don't exist. She's saying being English is a feeling or something you can take on no matter where in the world you are from. We're being erased.
It is what you set out today, you say, is a Labour immigration policy. And it means, in your mind, that people like your parents who play by the rules can find a home in this country, and that their children can, and this is an interesting word, their children can unthinkingly call themselves English. Do you personally, without reservation or hesitation, call yourself English?
Yes, That's why I put that in the speech, because it's never occurred to me that I'm not. I very much identify with being somebody who's a Brummie. I think Birmingham is one of the best of the English cities, and I consider myself English as well as British as well. I know that sometimes people use English to mean slightly different things, but for me, my identity, being someone who's born and lived in England all my life, that's who I am.
So, in minority homes, generally speaking, English usually means white. From your point of view, you've gone past that.
I think definitely when I was younger, everybody would have said if you're saying someone is English, what you really mean is they're white. I think that is a little bit less true today, as more of us are settled in England. As you've seen the rise of sort of Scottish civic identity and Welsh civic identity. If England were playing Scotland in a football match, I know who I'm supporting. I wouldn't even think twice about supporting anyone other than England.
And if they're playing Pakistan at cricket?
Exactly the same, England all the way. So because of that, I think over the last few years, you've seen more of a sense of confidence amongst minority communities to consider themselves English. But also, I think English is not a race identity so much as it is a civic and national identity, and that is definitely the perspective.
Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that one. That is bullshit. England is a culture, an identity, a race of people. Not just something you can just be. Eric Doherty said, breaking by stroke of pen and flanked by many Latin American heads of state, President Trump forms the Shield of America's coalition, which we know, an initiative that will disseminate the cartels and narco-terrorists in our hemisphere. Only Trump could pull this off. Defend the Americas. Go Americas. Eric Doherty said, just in, Secretary Marco Rubio breaks out in Spanish to Latin leaders and tells President Trump, I think I'm a good interpreter. I think Marco just signed himself up for yet another job. You all right if I? Good. You don't need an interpreter for this one. I think I'm a good interpreter. You'll find out in a second. Marco's awesome. Let's have a listen.
Cover in Spanish. You all right if I? Oh, good. Please. We don't need an interpreter for this one. Quiero darle las gracias. I think I'm a good interpreter. You'll find out in a second. But las gracias a los países que están aquí hoy. Estos países. Primero, el presidente ha hecho esta región una prioridad en su administración. Hay muchos presidentes que han dicho que lo van a hacer, pero él lo ha hecho.
I've always wondered about interpreters. They could be saying anything and you wouldn't know. So they could change what you've said into something else, and the other person's going, no. And you're going, yeah, get look. Can completely stuff up situations, and let me tell you. Melinda Richards is laughing, gasping for air. Laughing again. Thanks, Fatima. I needed that laugh. This is the biggest own goal you've ever is this the biggest own goal you've ever seen? A crackdown on the National Disability Insurance fraud could disproportionately harm Muslim Australians. They're benefiting from it? From the fraud? Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying. Okay. One bad dude said, I just want all the Trump haters to know that if Donald Trump fails, America's in big trouble. Marjorie Taylor Greene's not going to save you. Tucker Carlson's not going to save you. Pray for President Trump. And neither will Candace Owens or any of them. Nick Fuentes or... They're not going to save you. You're on your own. Tommy Robinson said the BBC mistakenly altered a speech by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on the war in Iran, making him appear to say the United States was targeting the Iranian people. This comes only a handful of months since they did the same thing to President Trump. Defund the BBC. And David Farley wins One Nation candidacy. That doesn't mean he hasn't won the by-election yet. He's won the One Nation candidacy, so he's running for it. Fairy Megan, NBC 10 Boston. A man accused of hacking someone to death with an axe and eating part of the victim's brain and an eyeball has been granted conditional release after a careful review of his clinical progress, officials in Connecticut say. Elon Musk said probability of murder and cannibalism again is 100%. Why is he out? Who are these officials in Connecticut? They need their heads read. Dr. C said the ones who didn't follow Q are the ones who are confused right now. The ones who don't understand kayfabe and the art of war are also confused right now. Isn't kayfabe like acting? A show? Watching a show? Watching a movie? White hats are playing black hats. Black hats are playing white hats. This is why it was said, the end won't be for everyone. Enjoy the show. At this point, you're not going to convince anyone to go against what their eyes see. The enemy looks just like a normie. Normies aren't enemies. These events are drawing the enemy out into the public eye. Everyone will see who's who when the smoke clears. All will be well when it's over. In the meantime, show grace and mercy. Yep, okay, I'll pray for Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Pray for them. I hope to God they come to their senses. Tommy Robinson said a resurfaced video shows Aussie Labor MP Julian Hill pledging $670,000 in federal funding to an Islamic community organisation last year ahead of the federal election, before it went on to hold a mourning vigil for Iran's tyrannical dictator. Just remember all these names. And this one. Didn't want to bookmark Obama's post, because Obama said, today, Michael and I, Michelle and I, are proud to announce that we will be hosting the dedication ceremony for the Obama Presidential Center on June the 18th in Chicago and welcome the public on June the 19th. What the frick is that thing? Ugliest building in America. Yeah. Did you see that thing? Where is it again? What the frickin' Jesus? What? Okay. I agree with Liz Churchill. Peterson Ong said you don't get social peace unless you're willing to permanently incarcerate or eliminate the worst 1% of society. Elon Musk said yes. That's right. They're right. He's right. You need to. Will Tanner said Stephen Miller is 100% right here. The high culture that made the West so superior to everywhere else on earth only came because Western Europe executed 1% of each generation for centuries. In weeding the crime gene out of the population pool through centuries of capital punishment for everything from larceny to murder, Western Europe made itself a paradise and blossomed into the greatest, highest civilization the world has ever seen in the 18th and 19th centuries. You'd have a lot of polite people, let me tell you. So as he said, the West only achieved the place that it did in human history because it spent previous centuries eradicating the criminal elements within its territories. The West that we came to know, that had great music, architecture and science, and the most powerful economy, had spent centuries previous to that establishing order first. That is 100% true. High civilization requires order and requires the pruning of the tree of civilization to achieve it. Yeah. So instead of getting rid of, like, them calling us useless eaters, how about, those criminals? That'd be easier. 1% do over 50% of the, wasn't it 1% do over 50% of the crime? They do the majority of the crime, the 1%. Benny Johnson said Iran paid a 47-year-old Pakistani to assassinate Donald Trump in 2024 rally as revenge killing for Soleimani. A Asif merchant was arrested I already did that. That was yesterday's. And there you go. We're at the end. We're at the end. Okay. Now I've got to go back as far as I can. That's it. Okay. Get past everyone saying hello. Shane said, ask my 7-year-old what road that is. Lol, straight up. That's Lithgow going to Sydney, Dad. There you go, Shane. Your daughter knows. Good on her. D-Lee said, have your hair looks lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I was busy doing my hair and stuff this morning and it was kind of late getting started and flustered, and that wasn't the only thing. Zuki boy, how you going? Good to see ya. And Lanazi, did I say hello to Lanazi and Carl? Menacing Muskrat. I did say hello to Janelle and Dee Lee, yep. And Rails. Make asylums great again, Mr. Rail needs to be locked up. Yes, he does, doesn't he? Itchy nose. Dee Lee said, don't be silly. Food comes from the store, not yard. Forgetting that most of it comes from farms in the first place. Even the processed shit. I still use farm stuff. Otherwise, it couldn't even be called food, would it? Be plastic or some shit. Sorry, my cup is really hot. I think mostly city people think that. You know, the Uber would take over where farms left off. Not going to happen, man. Flyby Stew said never used Uber and the like. Feck 'em. Exactly, Flyby Stew. Kai said that stupid daylight screw-up time is today too. What? Are you having daylight saving today? Yeah, Flyby, hope you're feeling better. Deb said, show me the video. All stuffed, not. Kai said, gullible, yes, liberals are idiots. John, how you going? Shannon said they changed the calendar, got rid of a whole month. Yes, apparently they did. There were 13 months. There used to be, apparently, allegedly. I don't know, okay? Ask Shannon. Lanazi said, sorry, had to feed my kitty, lol. Shannon said, there should be 13 months. Lanazi said, creepy. Leslie, how you going? I think Dan Andrews is in hiding. They got to him. Yeah, he needs to hide, that man. Flyby said, Dee Lee, thanks for wishes. Going to take a bit of investigation. Rough, how you going? One nation or lose one nation. Yeah, vote one nation or lose our nation. Simple as that. Seriously. And if you don't vote, then you risk getting the same thing again. You can't blame anyone then. Shannon said, we need our oil refineries back. We do. Australia needs to start producing our oil again. I remember driving down the freeway, right, the Western Motorway, whatever it's called, in Sydney, Western Sydney, right? And as you came to near Parramatta, there would be oil refineries. Never had a problem. It was there. It was doing all right, and they shut it all down. Used to be a little flame that was always lit, you know? Shannon said, FF Israel attacked itself as per usual to give an excuse to attack Palestine. Dee Lee said, barely. Flyby said no. Donald said no. Kai said, yep, Shannon. Lisa Marie, how you going? You think Trump sucks? Depends on who you listen to, I think. A lot of people don't know what's going on. Honestly, I've been at this for years, and there was a site that actually told you what was going to happen, and it's coming true as time goes on. Hey, Paranormal Oz, how you going? But we can agree to disagree. Lanazi said, amen. Kai said, I've got a scammer obsessed with me, at least 4 calls a day, even on weekends. Really? Donald said, I tried watching it earlier live and I couldn't hear it then either. There you go. Something must be wrong with all the... I reckon it might be YouTube and things like that, maybe. But why would X do it? Unless people got it from YouTube or whatever to put on X and it was all low volume. I don't know. Something's going on with the volume. Shannon said, Trump always seems to suck until he doesn't and continues all his winning. So much winning, you'll get sick of winning. Yep. Oh, I should have wound that thing right up. I have a, what do you call it? Like an awning to stop the sun beaming in the window in the afternoons and heating. This room gets hotter than any other room in the house, by the way. But anyway, I've only rolled it halfway up and now it's just flapping in the wind. Ruff said, Westpac Bank are the biggest scammers in Australia, filthy. See you in the NTs. The pricks hacked my account and extorted me. F 'em. I agree. Ruff. Kai said, I'm still for my particular portion of winning. Kai said, I even got everyone helping contacts, except contacts blocked, so the retard isn't even bothering me. Deb said, yes, rough, and they want to know why you want to take your own money out. We change banks. Kai said, which banks did you go to? Which bank did you go to in the end, Deb? Kai said, I'm lucky as far as theft. I got nothing to steal. Yeah, me either. Kai said, now she's in deep doo-doo over some commercials. Flyby Stew said, what gets me is I knew most of this Pizzagate, Epstein, Twin Towers, etc., at least 5-10 years ago. For fuck's sake. Oh, no. Yep. We all did. Ruff said, Westpac is run by pedos and money laundering for drug cartels. See you in the NTs, yes. Kai said, maybe there's actually is a good reason to have drug this out so very freaking long. There is. It's got to be shown to everyone. And it will continue to happen. J1, how you going? Shannon said, giving Hev a rest today. No shenanigans. Oh, God love you. Too tired? Dealey said, well, that's boring. Deb's laughing at Shannon. Kai said, merciful of you, Shannon. Leslie said, I am Kai, yes, for years, trying to tell my family who really runs the world. Now they're starting to agree and told me I'm making sense now. Of course, it'll happen. Deb said, Shannon needs help. Ruff said, I've voted for Pauline since 1996. 30 years later, Australians are starting to wake up. 30 years, I know. J1 said, Ruff, the rain keeps falling. Eventually they'll get wet. Lanazi said, haha. Shannon said, where's our Alex? I don't know. Deb said, we miss our beautiful Alex. Yes, we do. Ruff said, Harold Holt and Johnny Howard were the worst prime ministers Australia ever had. Albo's an idiot. Ruff said, if you doubled Albo's IQ, he'd become a half-wit. J1 said, the truth is Albo knows what he's doing knowingly. Yes, he does. Deb said, sold out to get his day in the sun. Rick said, Hunter snorts crack off Joe's. Okay, Shannon, you give me a rest. Rick will pick up where you left off. How you going, Rick? J1 hunters are now the hunted. Yes, they are. Donald, is the internet buffering? Paranormal Oz said, hi, Deb. Hi, everyone. I missed. Sorry, just lurking around the chat. That's cool. Yep, thank you for lurking. Rick said, frazzled drip. Leslie said, setting Hillary up to fail greatly. J1 said, the Standard Hotel. Yeah, shifty shift. Standard Hotel. Donald Hendricks said, Tater Joe. I love it. Yeah, Tater Joe. Rick said, Michelle Obama tickles Obama's tonsils. Shannon says something is going on in the beef industry as well. Newborn calves are going for $2,000 US. What do you mean? Is that high or low or I don't know? Probably high. J1 said, Shannon, okay, interesting. Shannon said, not everyone anymore. They hate each other, lol. Shannon said, ham, cheese, tomato and onion toast. Oh, you're going to make me hungry, Shannon. Shannon. You know what I had yesterday after streaming, and I'm going to have it today as well? Organic mince patty. So grass-fed, organic mince patty with egg, lettuce, tomato, cheese on a piece of fried bread. Have you ever fried bread? Oh. We used to always do it in Ireland. You fry the bread, you fry the bacon, you fry the egg, and you stick it all on the fried bread, and it's bloody beautiful. I'm going to have that afterwards. Dealey said, AI of any name contradicts itself. Oh, Kai said, beef roast and deviled eggs with baked crushed new potatoes. Oh, yum. Yeah, Dealey said, yum, Kai. Deb said, oh, my God, Kai. Paranormal Oz said, so happy it's not as hot and humid today as it was yesterday was hell. The humidity was, I couldn't do anything with my hair. It was bad. The minute you stepped out, because we had the air conditioner on to try and dry the house out because this house gets very damp very quickly. So we had the air conditioning on to try and dry it out, even though it wasn't hot, but the humidity made it feel like it was 30 something. Okay, Jake said, just got in, guys. How you having all? How you going, Jake? Shannon said, Keir Starmer used to take it up the batty crease from Jimmy Savile as a child. Okay. You guys, I'm going to have to be careful here again, aren't I? Shannon said, no, Debs is effing breakfast. I'm trying to stay awake. And Minnie P said, praying in the streets is like a cat spraying its territory. Aussie men step up. Yep. Jake said, Groom, Starmer and Macron and a lot of others, the Great Awakening. Yep. Now, Rough, you're getting into it too. I have to pre-read some of these now, I just realised. Oh, no, Rough's not as bad. They lick the dirt and point their arse at God the Creator. Shannon said they should ban a call to prayer. It was blasted out AC/DC at Sparrow Fart early every morning and night. We would get fined. Yes, we would. Rick said, deport McDonald's and KFCs to Mexico. Kai said, but they allow holidays that require animal torture for the food. Yes. Minnie P said, military, millstone intelligence. Kai said, and pedophilia is a main tenant. The Minnie P said, pedo looked good with a milestone around his neck as he goes swimming. Yes, definitely. Rough said all those Australians that sold their homes to immigrants for the love of money can F off, and those that rent to them as well. Do you know what? When my mum and dad sold their home recently, guess who bought it? An Aussie. Dealey said we've got people buy up churches around here, turning them into a home. Yeah, well, that guy was actually buying up the churches to keep them as churches because he doesn't want them turning into other things, which I thought was very good. Minnie P said it's a war on Christians. It is. Shannon said you don't need a church or intermediary between me and God. God is in us always. Virginia, how you going? Dealey said beautiful stained glass windows. J1 said just found a great pastor on the tube. Oh, cool. Rick said Ralph Furley. Rough said I had a church very expensive to convert into a home. Shannon said what sauce did you put on it, Jay? Oh, pastor. Shannon, a pastor on the tube, not a pastor. Oh, the Minnie P said I did my first YouTube Bible study session, family lines of Noah's sons. Ham sexuality assaulted his dad. What? Yeah, apparently one of them tried to crawl into bed with their dad. Shannon said white sauce with cheese is a priest choice with the altar boys. Shannon said, did Ham sleep with Noah's wife? Deb said, a family member made an old church into a wonderful home in Gamaraka, Rough said a little church in Warralla, South Australia. I was going to retire there, but after I bought it, COVID came. Kai said, oh my effing God, laughed my ass off, Shannon. Kai said, I'm running behind. I'm cooking. Deb said, lots and lots of EV car stock up in the old Holden lots. Yes. No one wants them. Kai said, if there's a cheese in this white sauce, they need a doctor. Shannon said, I've been there, Rough. I used to manage an oyster farm in Seduna. Is it Seduna? The Minnie P said, no, he assaulted Noah while he was drunk and hangover and then showed his brothers Shem and Japheth his dirty deeds. Oh, I've got to refresh myself again. I'm going to have to read that Bible again. Shannon said, have friends in Streaky Bay. Derek, how you going? They take a lot and only when the people have had enough they give back a tiny bit of what they stole back to keep the masses happy. 2Q aloha. How you going, Derek? Good to see you. The Minnie P said Ham's line was cursed and Ham's son Canaan are the Canaanites. I have to refresh myself, Minnie P. It's been like years since it's really bad. It's been years since I read the Bible. Kai said, Ionize Cody, the famous crying Indian, was Italian, my fourth cousin too. Ruff said, it's remote, Shannon. Food was the biggest problem I had, and publican is a dickhead. Oh. Deb said, forking insane, who knows hospital? Yeah. The hospital you can't pronounce. Shannon said, no doubt, lol. Lanasi said, wow. Kai said he was a con man and a half. Shannon said, I'm originally from Kimber, South Australia. Kai said there's been plenty of documentaries made about it. Shannon said, big silos. Kai said, I'm originally from my dad's, never mind. Ruff said, nice drive from Cooper, though, through Kingunya? Dealey said, okay, Kai, I definitely know who you're referring to, so that is cool. Kai said, yep, big silo. Deb said, our phone have translation in them. Jake said, President Trump, we salute you. J1 said, God will not be mocked. I think we are starting to see that in the world today. Shannon said, what must have been allergic to nuts? Yeah, Shannon, kayfabe is pretend fighting, isn't it? So, like, pretend, like you're watching a movie, like, Kai said, I followed Q closely. I'm fucking lost. Are you really? Oh, Kai. That's okay. We'll keep you updated. Shannon said, Debs and her dots, how many Indians have to go without now? Dealey said, what does it say? Kai said, she's holding on to the crown. Deb said, I'm impatient. Janelle said, I just looked up the meaning of that new hospital. It's on the land of the Karuna people, a place of health that cares for women during pregnancy and birthing babies, children, and young people. Shannon said, you can tell if an Indian is dyslexic because they put the dot in the back of their hand. Ruff said, God said don't eat the apples. Can someone tell me when he ever said that it was okay? They're a better fruit to eat. They push the apple, they do. What do they say? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Might keep God away too. I don't eat apples. Rare. Oh, every now and then, like once in a blue moon, I might have an apple pie. Okay, where was I up to? Here somewhere. Kai said, what a name. Dealey said, Janelle, that was the words in the building. Shannon said, he doesn't mean, what? He doesn't mean apple. It's a metaphor for forbidden knowledge. Kai said, it's to denote married from not. Kai said, they're to dirt poor for rings, and they'd get shit caught under the rings anyway. Lanazi said, some girl asked Kennedy, why can't we go to the sun at night? Oh, dear. Because it's still freaking hot and shining, just on the other side of the planet. Shannon said they implemented the Gregorian calendar. Lanazi said, hey, we have two halves, lol. Oh, we do too again. Deb said, there's a 13-star sign. It has a man and a snake. Oh. Lanazi said, we really need to pray for these people. Yep. Shannon said, it's a dragon, not a snake. Deb said, yes, agree to disagree. Yeah, definitely. Deb said, sorry, I thought it was a snake. Kai said, what if I disagree with disagreement? That's fine. I don't care. Kai said, or whatever makes it difficult. Deb said, credit unions. Lanazi said, lol. J1 said, cold wallet becoming your own bank. Donald said, I was on Rumble. Deb said, people choices. Janelle said, then you're in agreement, Kai? Janelle said, yes, Jay, working on that ways to go yet. Shannon said, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Deb said they laughed at Pauline back in the day. They did. They also locked her up. Lanazi said, God wins. Yes, he does. Kai said, I'm not sure I'm cooking dinner at the moment. Minnie P said, lol, frazzled drip. Deb said, do not fear, God wins. Deb said, yes, and Miss Clinton so indignant about frazzle drip. Deb said, "Hev, you are making me miss my mum's cooking. Fried bread, fried bacon and egg." Shannon said, "Organic mincer, pedo equals wood chipper." David Band said, "I feel like the internet all day has been buffering." Probably. Nisi, how you going? So great to be with you all. Harry, how you going from Tahiti? Shannon said, "I love that band. Too fat for Tahiti." What? Mrs. Out to lunch, how you going? Donna loves Fred and Fred loves Donna. Shannon said, "Donna and Fred should get a room." I'm sure they got one. Shannon said, "Wait for it." Harry said, "People are fat in Tahiti because they cook with vegetable oils." Yes, vegetable oils is poison. Yes, exactly, Harry. You need like lard or meat fat, something. Olive oil, I heard, is good, but not at a high temperature. It can't fry on high. Fry on high. Deb said, "I need a larger print Bible." Yeah, so do I. I'm having trouble reading. I'm going to have to turn it on and listen, I think. Minnie P said, "You'll find it in Genesis." Okay, thank you. Deb said, I need a larger print Bible. Harry said, "I've been full carnivore for over 2 years. Feel amazing. Today I weigh the same I did when I first met my wife 40 years ago, and all of my digestive problems are gone. Check out Healing Humanity." Yeah, definitely, Harry. That's excellent. Did I? Oh, no. Add as mod. I'm just going to mod you so you don't get censored, because people tend to get censored. Jake said, "Mel Gibson, Passion of the Christ." Deb said, "Yes, our Dr. Timmy is a supporter of carnivore diet." Yes, he is. Harry said, "Only eat red fatty meat, eggs, fish, and only drink water." That's probably the best thing you can do. People are losing weight all over the place doing that. You know that? And no sugar. Shannon said, "Apple slice." Ruff said, "In case I haven't mentioned this before, Westpac Bank see you in the NTs." And Harry said, "That's all your body needs. All the rest is poison." Harry said, "Nutritional guidelines are purposely misleading. They want us sick so they can make billions." Well, I don't know if you've seen the new food pyramid. RFK Jr. did. It's pretty much turned upside down. Meat, fish, eggs at the top. Some veggies underneath it and fruits. Minnie P said, "Right, got it, Westpac, extremely bad." Yep. Deb said, the 13 is about hidden knowledge. Harry said, "Apples contain leopards and fructose." There you go. Kai said, "I drank like a fish for around 37 years, stopped, and 3 years later started aging." Deb said, "My internet is out. Thank God for mobile internet." Yeah. Harry said, "If you like to listen to Skulker, try The Breeders." Shannon said, No, Too Fat for Tahiti is a music band's name. Is it? Shannon said, "Baby Animals." Seether? Deb said, "I'll have to put myself in the naughty corner." Kai said, "Not you, Deb." Deb said, "Yes, I walk through the supermarket 90%. Oh, what? Oh, she deleted it. And I'm at the end too, guys. Should we postpone the watch with me till tomorrow because Alex isn't here? Timmy's not here. Poor Shannon probably has to go to bed. Are you off for the weekend, Shannon? Probably Shannon's probably off today. Cayenne pepper gift from God, yes. So I'm wondering, Shannon says, "Stop sniffing the naughty corner, Debs." So, yes, I'm wondering, should we postpone the watch with me till tomorrow? Yes, I thought so. That's good because I'm hungry. You've already worked today, Shannon. Oh, Kai's got to go too. Okay, guys. Yep, we'll do it tomorrow if we can. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow anyway. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.